On behalf of my co-author, Emily Lucan, both Emily and I would like to thank Concurrences for this honor for tonight's award. For many decades now, patent pools have been promoted as a good vehicle for broadly and efficiently licensing patents that are essential to an industry standard. So patents that might be necessary in order to do something like a cellular standard for a phone, or connecting to Wi-Fi, or connecting a phone to another Bluetooth application. But to quote one of my favorite modern philosophers, Bruce Springsteen, events of recent years do call into question whether the promises of patent pools are reminiscent of unfulfilled dreams of glory days gone long by. And what our article tries to do is it goes back and looks at some of the asserted pro-competitive justifications for patent pools and questions whether they still hold valid given more modern practices of certain pools. So, for example, it looks at questions regarding, for example, whether changes in patent damages law, which look to other comparable licenses by individual patent owners, whether that questions some of the assumptions that members of a pool are really complements and they don't really compete with each other in, for example, a broader licensing market. At the same time, the article goes and takes a look at some of the risks that are commonly associated with pools. And again, looking at it through the framework of more modern empirical evidence, questions, whether patent pools are really achieving what they were designed to do, and whether risks associated with, for example, licensing agents claiming that they are not bound by the promises of the patent of the individual members of the pool, or, for example, the proliferation of where there may be multiple pools covering a single standard, thus eliminating the benefits of a single way to get patents that might be necessary to a standard, or even mechanisms in a patent pool itself which are designed to discourage individual licensing, which always been viewed as a competitive check on pools. And looking at both some of the pro-competitive justifications for pools and whether they still hold true, and then looking at the anti-competitive risks of pools and evaluating them through the lens of modern day licensing practices, whether or not we need to go back and revisit the underlying assumption that many of us have, which is that pools by and far are pro-competitive. And of course, our article does not suggest that patent pools are necessarily bad, but it does suggest a framework for people under a traditional rule of reason approach where you balance the pro-competitive effects against potential anti-competitive consequences. It goes through and makes some suggestions for how pools should be run, and also makes some suggestions on how enforcement agencies and private parties should be evaluating the benefits and risks of pools. So we hope that little teaser will encourage you to go read our article. Again, it has some nice quotes from Bruce Springsteen, one of my favorite musical artists, an incredible poet growing up. If you want to find our article, you can find it on the Concurrences website. You can find it at the San Diego Law Review, which graciously published it, and of course, it's also available on SSRN. Thank you.